Page 14, theme from New York, New York. Things are getting tricky here. Let's take a look. This is in 4/4 time. The position, the hand position, they don't tell you what position you're in. How do you know what position you're in? Well, let's talk about it because it's important. At the beginning, the notes, you have an F, fourth finger. So if I put my fourth finger on the F, that's the position I'm in to start. Now that gets a little more involved in that as the music gets more difficult, but right now let's just focus on that. So that's the right hand position. The left hand, when it comes in, it's got a 2 and a 1 on this FA. And then there's a C there, here. So this is the position for the left hand to start. So you're here and here. It's not middle C position anymore, kids. And might move around a little bit. You will move around a little bit. We'll get there, but this is where you're starting at. This gives you a starting point. So let's talk about this one hand at a time because this is a little tricky. At the beginning, you have a rest on beat 1. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's rest 2, 3, and 4. There's a note about uneven eighth. Forget that right now. Let's just play it the way it's written. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and the next two measures is exactly the same. Let's go over to page 15. You have a rest and now you have 3 and they have a pass under. I don't like that. The point is you're not passing anything. You're just going to let your thumb come under. Some people will call it cross under, stick under, pass under, whatever you want to call it. You just move the thumb. If you're doing the scale, the C major scales, and I would encourage you to do my video on C major scale. Learn the scale and the fingering and all that. This is in it. I mean, you'll learn to do this thumb movement. You just relax and let the thumb do its thing. It's easy if you'll relax it. It'll do it. So here, and that moves your hand up to this position. We just moved. Isn't that cool? So the measure is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And the next measure, look out, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. See the tied, the 2/8 notes are tied? If I take out the tie and play them all, it's this way. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. But put in the tie, you just hang on to that note a little longer. It's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and... Now see, we're getting sharps and flats all over the place, aren't we? Isn't that nice? And on that second measure with that G sharp, that's for the rest of the measure, right? So it's both of those G's are G sharp. Second line, they say move. You're ending the first line here. You actually moved up again, didn't we? So we're here. During the rest, you get a quarter rest. You simply lift up and move. Here, just here. So you're back to where you were at the beginning. Type thing. At the end of that line, you're going to cross under again. And you're back up to where you were. Aren't we having fun now? Go down to the fourth line. Again, you got to move back down. You got plenty of rest to move down. You got time. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And that's tied across the bar line. Hang on to it. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and then the left hand takes over and you get some more in the right hand. Last two measures of that line. You got a rest when they're telling you to move, and they're nice of them. The move in these little instructions is not really part of the music. It's just something the author stuck in to help you for now. You're not going to get that. You have to realize based on the notes and the fingering that you have to move. You figure it out. So during the rest, we move up and put our thumb on the A. Now they want us to do a thumb again. Now we're way up here. Isn't this nice? Are we having fun? Last line. 2 here and a 4, and now it's a 1-5. I like that move from here to here. I like using different fingers on repeated notes. Same note played multiple times. I like using that, so I like this 4-5. And you're going to hang on to that for 8 counts because it's tied. And then for the B flat F, I recommend a 2 on the B flat. And then the last note, the quarter note, the AC, that is a staccato. Just a wrist staccato. And it's an accented, so play it just a hair louder than normal. Just give it a little extra oomph on it. Yeah. So you may have to work out this right hand carefully. And then when you get it, let's take a look at the left hand. At the beginning on 14, so over on page 14, first measure is easy, you're not doing anything. Second measure, you have these notes. So it's a 1 and rest. You're resting on 2 and 4. 1, 3, 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and you just come up with 2 and 1 here. Now we have a problem, and some people have fat fingers and they don't fit in between these very well without they accidentally hit 2, whatever. And if you can't do that, then you have to adjust the fingering to allow for it. You can come up with 2 and 3 because you got plenty of rest. You got time to move if you need to. So you're here, just come up to here if you need to, and then down, and then up. So you make those adjustments if you need to make them, but I'm going to go ahead and use their fingering because if you can, that's what you need to use. Here, so it's 1, rest, rest, top of 15, 1, 2, 3, rest. We're moving all over the place, aren't we? It's second measure, 1 and 2 and 3, and it's the same rhythm as the right hand, so you're playing that. But in the next measure, it's a staccato, so just get off of it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just lift up and get off. Kind of bounce off the key. It's a short staccato. Then the right hand, and then at the end of the line, the left hand comes in. And at the next line, it's another staccato. So you're so to lift up and get off. And then you're back the way you were at the beginning. Rest, rest. Make sure we hear the rest, they're important. Now, third line down, the last couple measures. You're here, it's a rest, 1, 3, 4, 1. And we need to hear that staccato note, so it's just get off of it. Just boom. Fourth line down, it's a 1, 2, rest, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. See the B flat's tied over between the third and fourth measure there. So it's in that third measure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have these chords, G, B flat, A, C, and then a B flat. And then the last line, second measure, 5, 2. I like that. Then it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2. Staccato accent. Reach down. You got plenty of rest to be able to move. During the rest, you do the movement. Then you go back and you try and put the hands together very carefully and very slowly, very deliberately. So at the beginning it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Rest, rest. Make sure you're lifting these hands up on these rests so you can look at the other hand and see what it's doing. And when it does that, it's like in the the third measure. You're here in the left hand, and then the right hand's going to play these notes. And when the right hand plays that D, the left hand's got to come up. And then they play together. Rest, rest, rest. So work these hands out very carefully. Go as slow as you got to know, I'm kind of speeding through it right now. But you can take it really, really super slow if you need to. Let's go down and take a look at this third and fourth lines here. You're starting out here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Fourth line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Rest, rest. So work these out slowly together. And when you can do that, you can pick up the speed a little bit. Now we go back and we put in these uneven eighths. This is a style of music. There's different kinds of styles of music. Well, this is more of a swing style music. Jazz, swing, and blues, they're all different styles of music. Well, typically in those three styles, when you get eighth notes in the music, you will automatically play them long, short, long, short. We call it swinging the eighth notes. So instead of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So here it's at the beginning, it's 1 and 2, and you count it swinging 1 and 2. That's what you're thinking. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1, like so. At the top of page 15, the first couple of measures, it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And so all the way through it, you're thinking 1 and 2. You're swinging it. There is no notation to match what the rhythm we're doing. It's not a dotted rhythm. It's not a triplet rhythm. I don't know if you've even had those yet. Doesn't matter. It's not either. You feel this rhythm, this long short, you feel it, because the short note is not necessarily the same shortness all the time. It's how you feel it, and that's why it's important on this. If they want even eighth notes in jazz, swing, or blues, they have to put in a note in the music evenly, or play even or something to tell you that. And it's only eighth notes. You don't swing anything else, just eighth notes. So work all that out, and then when you got it, come back and let's do this play with me slowly, just to double check your rhythms and notes and things. Dynamic, I haven't talked to, they're not doing a lot with dynamics. It's sort of medium loud to begin with, and then when you get over to the middle or the third line on page 15 at the end, now suddenly it's loud. There's not a lot of difference between medium loud or moderately loud and loud. It's just a little louder, loud is, and you're going to be there, looks like, to the end. So you can decide on the dynamics. After you get to know a piece and you can get to feeling it, you can adjust those dynamics a little bit. It's fine. But learn it the way it's written first. Because if you're going to change something, you want to know you changed it. If you change something without knowing it, that's a mistake. That's an error. You're not supposed to do it. But if you change something intentionally, because I feel it this way, I like it this way, that's improvising, actually. It's not allowed in all kinds of music, but it's allowed in this kind of music. You can improvise. So I'm going to give us 4 counts, so let's play this together slowly. Keep in mind that the first beat here is a rest. So really I'm going to give us 5 counts before we play. So start, your hands, where do they go? Right hand's here, left hand's here to start. Okay. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and rest and 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 2 and 3 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 2. Rest, rest. Well, there is another duet part here, a teacher accompaniment. I'm going to try that, and you play what you just played, but I'm going to speed this up a little closer, not full speed, but a little closer. Now, this first measure you play with this, the accompaniment, there's nothing there. So I don't come in until the second measure when you have that whole note. That's when the accompaniment starts. So I'm going to go ahead and play these notes with you at the beginning to get you going, and then I'm going to do the accompaniment on second measure. So go ahead and put your hands where they go. I'll give us 4 counts and then we'll begin. Well, 4 counts and a rest and we'll begin. I did speed this up. Be careful. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and rest and rest, rest.